So Dan's welded these new brackets in, 1, 2, 3, which is like a, what's it shaped like? It's like a J, is it? It goes right down to the bottom. That whole piece snapped off 3 times. So it's been a bit fiddly to try and weld it. You still haven't welded the inside, have you?
I'm not going to be able to get to that one.
What do you think, to try and do it with a rod welder?
Well, I mean, I've put weld on the bottom.
Yeah, it's just because I think this piece is supposed to be one entire piece, isn't it, that goes all the way?
Yeah, they're like 2 pieces of sheet, so this bit here comes up to here and goes down, and then you've got a bit underneath that comes out, up. But yeah, it's just lots of bits of sheet metal welded together that are bent. But
then again, you've used much heavier steel, so the weld should, in theory, be strong enough because you've had plenty to weld to. So.
Yeah.
But he's had to drill and tap them out because they're threaded holes, so you can screw these bolts in to straight into that flat plate to put these rings on. So it looks as though he's just going through the pickup tines now.
Yeah, get all the pickup tines straight.
There's quite a few missing, isn't there? There's quite a few that have only got one, or that are bent or snapped, or
yeah.
But we've got a big bag of them.
All the ones that are snapped I'll change, and then if we've got some more I'll change the bent ones as well.
Just see if they all need a bit of straightening up. And we've only got 2 bands, new bands to put on because he only had 2 in stock. So we're hoping we really ideally need like another 4 because there's another one that's completely missing, and then there's a couple that are a bit knackered.
It's 2 like this.
I don't understand how they've done that. They've like cracked. Whether they've cracked or whether they've had a tine.
No, they've worn away. It must have like snapped a tine, and the tine's been rubbing around inside it. I reckon.
It seems a bit hard to imagine, but yeah. So there's 2 that are like that want replacing, and then there was one. This end one was a completely different type, different make, and it didn't really seem to fit. So yeah, we could do with another 4, and then I think it's going to be a hell of a lot better than it was. It's a shame that the bands are a different colour. That's obviously the new colours, you know, like Massey, I suppose it's Massey colour, isn't it? Massey grey now, so, which is a bit of a shame, but it doesn't really matter as long as it works. And then I think we're going to cut this box off. This is a twine box. But we just need to take these, just cut these clips off, and then basically this rack here is a spare roll holder. It'll just sit in that cradle. Oh, looks like we might not have to cut it off. Yeah, Dan's been a bit busy the last, well, yesterday mostly, and he's got this pickup all back together again. He's done a really good job actually. He's outdone himself. So he's had to weld in brackets to hold all those rings on in the middle. 3 of them he's had to do, and they're all painted now, and he's put it all back together. He's been through, I think he bought a bag of like, I can't remember how many it was, like 30 tines, and I was like, bloody hell, that's a bit keen. I didn't think we needed that many. I think he's ended up with about 2 or 3 spares, so we needed a lot more than what I thought we did. So it's got a full set of tines on it now. There are a couple of bent ones, which he's left on because I don't know how much harm that's going to do really. There's 1 tine missing there because the bar that it bolts to must have snapped at some point, and it's had to be welded up, so there's no hole to stick the bolt through, which we could probably sort out if we wanted to, but it'd mean we'd have to sort of take the whole thing apart. But I can't see that 1 time's going to make a huge amount of difference. I mean, everything he's done so far is just going to make it 10 times better. He's put the 2 the two new rings in that we did have, and there was a couple of bent ones that weren't. That galvanised one didn't seem. I don't know if you can see it. There's a galvanised one that wasn't fitted properly, and we assumed it was the wrong ring, but he's actually managed to get it to fit. And there was another one that was cracked that is welded up. So we basically just need three more rings, because there's two that are broken, sort of beyond repair, and there's one missing. So, and then it'll be in hopefully in full working order. So we're quite keen to try it. We've taken this string box off, which was up here, which we assume now opens up a cradle to put a spare roll of net. We think a spare roll of net should just sit in that cradle, so you can take two rolls with you. So yeah, we're just excited to get out and do some baling really now, but it just keeps raining. I think we're right at the end. This clip might end up in one of my September videos, but we are in like the last day or two of August now, so we're hoping for some dry weather in September. And we had a massive downpour last night, and then it's been raining again all this morning, so we got puddles everywhere. Yeah, and it's still the weather forecast just completely changes every time you look at it. But on the whole, I think we're due to have a bit of a spell of 3 or 4 dry days in a row now, so we'll see how we get on. Dan's been and got me red impact pecker out, and he's just whipped all this concrete off these bars this morning. I haven't actually seen him, but I heard him doing it, so it doesn't look like, it looks like it's made short work of it. We were worried it might take ages to clean them off. We reckon we're going to need 6, which is probably what he's done, because we're thinking of just putting up a 2x3 bay, but we're going to try and make it twice as high. So we were thinking of welding 2 posts together to make it twice as high. We have no idea how structurally sound this is going to be, by the way. We have seen it done before on a greenhouse on a nursery, where they've basically just welded in a section, and it seemed fine. So that's what gave us the idea, really. So yeah, hopefully I think I was going to mow some grass today, but because it's wet, I think we'll probably go down and take out the last. I think there's 1 row of posts left to take out, and then I think we've near enough finished the greenhouse clearance job. It's all home, so we can bring the digger back and start clearing an area where we're going to put it. So that's probably going to be today's job after I've fed all my cows. Yeah, and what I did yesterday while Dan was messing with the baler was did a couple of little welding jobs underneath this mower. That skid, when last time I went mowing, I hit a manhole cover and bent the end skid, so I've just sort of hammered it all back and welded it up, and welded a few bits of rough skids that kept catching grass. And yeah, it's 99% pure weld, this mower. Just keep welding bits of metal onto it every year, and it just keeps on going. Anyway, yeah, got this box pusher as well that I picked up, which is potentially for sale if anyone's interested. I don't think it's done a whole lot of work. It's just a nice little light duty log splitter, so if you're interested in one, let me know. It's probably around about 500 quid's worth, which I reckon is probably a fair bit cheaper than what you could get a new one these days. They were probably around about that price, when that was new. But yeah, everything's just gone up, hasn't it? Everything's doubled. Those bale grabs, that red Ransom's bale grab, I don't think Racing, is it? Oh, I don't know. I don't think they make them anymore, but that exact same grab Now I think that one was 400 quid, but now I think they're about £1,100 for exactly the same thing. So yeah, everything's just doubled, more than doubled in price the last couple of years. What's he doing now? Just been spreading a bit of lime, and we had a fair bit of rain last night and this morning, so there's the ruts that are in this field. There's some bad ruts which I tried to sort of roll out last time I was in here with the tractor, but it was too dry really and they weren't squashing down. But I've just just spread lime on this field, and the ruts are all full of water. They look quite soft, so my roller was parked up in the corner of this field, so I thought, well, instead of going all the way home, I'll just stick it on now, because you can actually pull this roll. I've got the drawbar on. You can pull it with the fertiliser spreader on. The spreader sits up out of the way, so I'm just going to go and see if I can have a roll of these ruts. But yeah, I've just put some lime on this field, because it's, of all the fields I've done the same procedure with almost all of my grass fields for this second cut, as in all had the same amount of muck and all had the same amount of fertiliser, but this one for some reason is just is much paler than all my other fields. Like the nitrogen hasn't worked as well, so I thought, well, maybe it needs lime. Well, I know it needs lime because I had it tested about 4 years ago, and the pH was very low, and I've never put any lime on it since then. So it's very likely that might be the problem. That's why the nitrogen isn't working as well as it is in other fields. So, and also I wanted to get the lime out of the way because it's sat right in the middle of the yard where I want to start clearing to put up this greenhouse. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and spread a bag. So put a bag on this field, and now I'm just trying to roll some ruts out, and it's actually rolling really well. It's hard to show you really because I can't really see the roller because the fertiliser spreader's in the way, but you'll have to take my word for it. It is squashing down quite nicely, a lot better than it did last time I tried to flatten it. I'm half thinking of if it does dry up in September after the next cut of grass, if there's a spell before the winter where I can where it's dry enough, I might get my rotavator out on the International and just go around these. I've got a couple of really deep ruts that I've made this year, and just rotivate the ruts, and just maybe run over them with some harrows, like chain harrows, and then just leave them over the winter, and then hopefully they'll roll down flat in the spring when I do my spring rolling. That's my plan, but it all depends on what sort of weather we get in September. Well, yeah, from now onwards really. I mean, September quite often is supposed to be a dry month, and we're due a bit of a dry spell really, aren't we? So if all goes to plan, hopefully we'll get in a week or 2 weeks time we'll start cutting second cut or third cut or fourth cut in some fields for our last session of silaging, and then hopefully get what's left of me muck all out, which there isn't a great deal to be honest, and then do a bit of I might just I'm tempted to just do some like subsoiling if I can get like a single leg subsoiler or a mole plough or something and run it through some of the wet spots, maybe before or after I've rotodated it. I don't know. We can all have plans, can't we? But in reality, it rarely ever happens. Just doing a bit of mowing, just mowing this field. It's got sheep on it, but nowhere near enough sheep. And just get ahead of them when the owners ask me to come and mow it up every year. This bit I'm mowing now, there's hardly anything on because I think this is where the sheep have stayed pretty much all year. A bit over the other side of that hedge that I've already cut, there's loads of grass on. Just like there was last year really. Quite a bit of a disaster because I'll show you. I'm not using my mower. The mower decided to shear 2 bolts and the back wheel's fallen off it again. But it wasn't the same 2 bolts as last time, it was a different 2 bolts, so yeah, a bit of a disaster because I can't just think of a way of quickly fixing it like we did last time because it's broken a little bit worse. I'll have to show you to explain it because I'm not going to try and explain it without being able to show. Anyway, I don't know whether Dan's going to come out and see if he can take the clamp that's broken off it, maybe fix it in the workshop and then come back and put it back on, because at some point I'm going to have to try and get it over because it's just abandoned in the middle of the field. But anyway, in the meantime I've gone and borrowed the neighbour's mower. It's just a plain cool mower. I think it's near exactly the same size as mine. It feels like it is. It's not got a conditioner on it. He's actually retiring, so I think this mower is actually for sale. I didn't want to say it. I thought that I would just have a use it, play with it and see what I thought before making an offer on it, but I actually really like it. For this sort of job where I'm cutting really short grass, basically toppings, it's so much better than using my mower, because my Tarot mower really does not like mowing short grass. It uses so much power. I think it's because the conditioners find it a lot harder to throw short bits of grass than long grass, and it just really drains. I couldn't mow this quick. I could probably even mow quicker with this mower because it's not using any power at all. So for this sort of job, this mower is absolutely ideal. For any little paddocks where you need to get in around trees and back into corners and stuff, it's loads easier with the mountain mower than the trail mower. You just have to do far less manoeuvring. There are positives to the Tarot mower. In a heavy crop, it mows it like it's butter. It doesn't even know it's there. It just really doesn't like light crops. So yeah, I think I am tempted to maybe see if I can buy this one to have a second mower for different jobs, but also just as a spare. My mower is quite old and it just tends to break quite a lot these days, as it's doing more and more work every year. But then also me and Dan are both free, we can both go mowing and we can saw off grass twice as quick. So, yeah, I'm actually really impressed with it, I really like it, using it. So I don't know what sheet with the round baler, wrap it, and then see, maybe have a go, maybe small balers, do some more small balers, or I could sell them. They're quite easy to sell. So. We've just come, Dan's come to try and start wrapping, and the electric box on the wrapper doesn't seem to be working. It's just coming up with all sorts of gobbledygooch, and it keeps going on and coming off, and it's got a mind of its own. So we thought maybe it was something to do with that tractor, so we tried plugging it into this one, but it's no different. So I'm not really sure. It was all working last time we used it. I'm sure it's something simple, but we can't just figure it out. We've got about 20 bales in here to wrap. Quite good heavy bales. Oh, back here this morning, we've got the, well, Dan got the bales wrapped that we baled. The control box wasn't working. He couldn't seem to be able to get it to do its auto function, but he did manage to get it working enough to basically be able to manually wrap all the bales. But he had to count all the revolutions himself. But he did manage to wrap them. I think there was 21 or 22 bales, and then we've got this bit of grass left that we thought we might try and small bale for hay. We were hoping to have it tedded out yesterday, but we just didn't have time with the wrapper going wrong and everything. I had to go and get some milk powder for the calves, so the day just disappeared. And we still haven't got this mower out of the way, which sort of needs to be out of the way before we ted. So we've come down here this morning. We've bent the bracket. This is what snapped off basically, which holds the back axle on. We've bent it back into sort of the shape that it should be, because obviously it was way less rounded. And then we're going to try and see if we can get it back on just as a temporary fix, because Dan thinks it needs a new one. It needs a new bush really. It should have like a wear bush in it, and you know, grease nipples on it. So Dan's on his way with a tedder, and hopefully between us we can get this wheel back on, well, axle. I can take the mower home out of the way, and he can ted this out, and then I don't know, I don't think it'll take a lot of making. It's not a very heavy crop, and a lot of it was pretty dead before I mowed it, so hopefully it'll be hay today or tomorrow. Don't know what the forecast is, but yeah, so that's the plan anyway. Back in action, we've just about managed to do it. For once, it all went to plan. So yeah, it doesn't look like we've got any weather really. It's Saturday today, it was forecast rain on Monday, but it's now saying it's going to be tomorrow on Sunday, so I don't know whether we're wasting our time tedding it out really, but Dan's doing, but hopefully he's going to ted it out. Might as well, seeing as we're here. It looks as though if we've got to bale it today, it'll have to be round baled haylage. So it's a shame. If I'd have known that, if we'd have known the forecast was doing that, we'd have just baled it all yesterday. But I did hope to try and get some small bales out of it, but it doesn't look like we're going to now, so anyway, right, we'll get this mower home. Well, it's a bit of a disaster because it's forecast rain tomorrow. Dan tried to ted the grass out, but he only got about, I don't know, halfway through it, and the wheel fell off the tedder, so the weather's gone. We didn't have enough time, it's not going to be hay. So we're just going back now to round Baler, which is a bit annoying, because if we'd have known that we were going to have to round Baler, we would have just done it yesterday and it'd all be done by now. But it's annoying we got to go all the way back just to do like 2 acres, but never mind. Dan's fixed the tedder anyway, hopefully a little bit more permanently. We managed to get the mower home, so that sort of needs taking apart again really, and what it really needs is a new bush putting in. Dan thinks it needs a new bracket, a new holder, but I don't know. All it is a bent lump of steel. I think if we just weld up the crack that's in that one and put some decent bolts in it with a new bush and some grease nipples, it should be alright. But I've yet to convince him. So off we go again. Baler's going really well. From what I've used of it so far, I mean, I've only baled like 40 bales with it, but yeah, 20 bales with it, with its new pickup setup. So yeah, really pleased. It was just hoovering up, and what we were baling the other day, it was like really short bits of grass clippings basically, and it was just hoovering it up, and it was hard not leaving anything behind. So really pleased with the pickup work that Dan's done. We've still got to sort out the buzzer. The buzzer for some reason just buzzes all the time now. It was sort of working when we first used it, so I don't know whether it's the buzzer that's a bit faulty or whether it's the sensor, one of the two. So it's basically no use. You basically just got to wait until the tractor starts dying, you know, once you can feel the chamber's full. But yeah, as a result of doing that, we did end up with he's going that way, I'm not going to go that way because it's bumpy as hell. We ended up with a lot of very uneven bales. Once they were wrapped, it became very obvious how varied they were. So yeah, I think you just got to make an effort to really fill your baler up. Keep going longer than you think if you want really nice tight bales. I've no idea what's going on with the wrapper, but Dan reckons it's wrapping fine. It's just he has to do it manually, which to me sounds like an absolute nightmare, but he doesn't seem to be too bothered, so might just have to leave him to it. This beeper is really annoying. I need to just unplug it. Off he goes. Well, here we are back with the trailer. What a lot of work just for 10 bales of, well, it's like haylage. The bits where he tedded was probably like haylage, but the stuff that didn't get tedded, there was big green lumps in it. So that'll be more like silagey sort of stuff. So yeah, oh, it's more than 10, it's 11. That's stuff there. He seems to have got the hang of that wrapper. I don't know how on earth he's using it, whether he's counting the wraps or what, or it's all of a sudden come back to life. I don't know whether it's this, I don't know, faulty box. Right, I'm going to chuck these on the trailer and take them home. Just had a bit of a session clearing out some of these shrubs from where we're hopefully going to just make the yard a bit bigger and put up a bit of somewhere to put the straw. So yeah, I've just pulled all the shrubbery out I pulled all the shrubbery out with the digger, so there's a big pile of soil now. So I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna put my spreader on, and I'm just gonna put the soil in the spreader and go and spread it on the field, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's only soil. It had brambles growing on it, but I don't think brambles are going to be a problem on grassland that gets mowed. So I'm just going to drop my loader off, because I don't need my loader on now well, I don't think I need it on. So the next thing I'll be doing probably is mowing when the ground dries up a bit. We've had a lot of rain, which is just, we've had a fair dollop of rain the last couple of days, which has just set us back a bit. Because the field that I want to mow is the Ragworthy field, which is really squidgy. I've been on it to tip muck a couple of times, and it's quite wet underfoot now, so it's going to need a couple of dry days before we can go and mow it. But that one seems to be the first one to do, because it's been the longest period since we've mowed, and also it is going to get wet, and I really do want to get some muck on it, so I want to get the grass off and get some muck on it before it goes really wet over the winter. So I think that's the next one to attack, maybe, but it all depends on the weather really. So yeah, anyway, that's one. Thursday, this is 5th of September. Keep going. Got all of a bigger set of tyres, which we're hoping might fit on this case. We've got a whole set off someone I know, and there's sort of like 20 to 30% tread on them, but they're the same size rim. Well, we don't know whether the rim is the same width, but it's the same height, so we've no idea whether they're going to fit on, because they're way taller and way wider than the ones that are on it. And if they do fit on the rim, we don't know whether they're going to fit in the wheel arch, so we're just going to take one off. We've just managed to break the bead on this one. One side was easier than the other. It'd be a miracle if they do, because it would be a massive upgrade in tyre size. And not only that, but they're also nowhere near as perished, so these look as though they're about to burst at any minute, whereas they're not really perished at all. So there's not a lot of tread on the front ones, but then again there's not a lot of tread on our front ones, so we're not really any worse off with tread. The back ones are pretty good actually, aren't they?
Yeah, the front ones are slightly worse.
They're off an MX 135, I think, which is basically a similar tractor to this, but a newer and slightly bigger. I don't know if the chassis is any bigger, but so. So we've had it on, and we reckon it was sitting too far out, and it was sticking out too far outside the mudguard. It was sort of sitting right out here, so we decided that we'll put the middle plate on the outside of these lugs instead, which will bring it in to sort of here somewhere, which we've just done. We've had the wheel on and we've just taken it off again to swap the centre plate round, and then we'll put it back on again and try it. We had a bit of a disaster. It fell off the jack and it's bent the mudguard a little bit, but we should be able to bend it back down. But it actually just does seem to fit. It's amazing. There we go. Got it on. We reckon that that's where it wants to be. I don't think the camera really does it justice. But yeah, it's a fair upgrade. I think it looks loads better. Alright, well. This is like the hydraulic man pulling this accumulator. We've been asking him to come for weeks and he's only just got back from he didn't have a tap with him, so he's basically just teed it in. And then we'll have to go pick a tap up. Definitely will. Noticeable already. I haven't tried it yet. Still leaking? I thought it was only bouncing one way. Oh yeah. I thought maybe it bottomed out when he picked the way to the Baler, but it hasn't. It's just proved me wrong. So yeah, oh well, that'd be really good. Quite looking forward to go climbing bales. It's just taking all the jerk and the rattle out of the loader. It's quite sticky, the joystick, and sometimes if you push it down too far, the whole loader just jars and it bangs because it doesn't sit tight in its brackets. But the way he's messing with it now, there's no rattling at all. It's just dead smooth. Yeah, that looks loads better. I'm quite excited to use it now actually. Looks a bit silly with its big boots on the back. Dan's just going to go and see what it's like going driving down the road. He's going to go tip a load of muck up. Yeah, bit of a silly oversight that really. We're going to have to see if we can find some 28-inch rims or some bigger tyres to go on the rims that they're on. We've tried it in 4-wheel drive and it doesn't actually scrub as bad as we thought. So yeah, it needs something a bit bigger on. So whether we can find a tyre that we can probably fit a slightly bigger tyre for those rims, or we need to find a set of 28 rims and then we can put the tyres on that we've got. So yeah, anyway, in the meantime we're just going to have to leave it as it is because yeah, I think it's usable. It looks a bit silly, but muck's getting a little bit sloppy. We've been a bit lax and I've kind of run out of straw. I'm using hay as bedding and it's not very absorbent. Looks like it's just about to start raining. Next dry spell we get, we're going to be hopefully back at back on the grass. I'm just praying that this isn't the start of the winter and that we're not going to get a chance to get it, because I think in another week, if we have a dry spell, we'll have a decent bit of grass on there, on all of, you know, a little cut on all of our fields, and I wouldn't want to leave it all the way through the winter, especially on the fields that can't be grazed with the sheep. So, anyway, Dan's just putting this mower back in the shed. He's done a bit of a repair job on this. He's put bigger bolts in and he's taken the brass bush out and repaired it a bit.
Can I get past that?
Yeah. And he's put 2 new grease nipples on it because there weren't grease nipples on it because they both snapped off. So yeah, it's all ready to go again. You did notice one of the bearing on that back wheels are getting a bit wobbly, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. He has greased it up and everything, but we'll just have to keep an eye on it. There's not a lot of weight on that bearing. Put it in front of the tedder. We're just waiting on the control box for this. It's been sent off to David King. They've had a look at it and they found the problem. It was just a bit of a broken solder or something in the control box. So that's on its way back. And also we've got a control box, a proper Welger control box, for the right one for that baler, that he had on the shelf. Just old stock, so we've got one of them coming in the same package hopefully, and he's already coded it up to the baler because Dan sent the baler box, the control box that's on the baler, to them, so they've already wired it all together. Just watch Dan take out the roof now with this grab. So yeah, it's all go. So hopefully as soon as the David King parcel turns up, we'll get the wrapper back in action, and the baler back in action. But we've sort of missed our chance to mow anything. We've had a couple of dry days in a row now, but the forecast from now on looks horrendous. Got this mower off the neighbour, which I've already said, but what we've noticed is it's got a blooming great big crack here. Don't know whether the camera picks it up, but I hadn't noticed it when I was using it, but I'm almost scared to use it until it's fixed, because there's quite a lot of twisting strain on it when you're mowing with it, and it either wants some bits of plate weld into the skids, or it wants some new skids, one of the two. And then I've got to decide whether or not I'm going to buy it, and I need to find out, try and do a deal with him. So yeah, we're sort of, if we do get that going, we could set off with 2 mowers as soon as the weather comes right. We've just been clearing this space. This concrete pad here is where the old house, well, the house that I grew up in was, the old cottage. And when they built the new house, they tipped all the, I think I've said this before, they tipped all the soil from the footings and stuff on here after they knocked it down. And then so it's just been covered up, and I just can't believe it's been sat here, you know, a big concrete covered hard standing's been sat here all these years, and it's just been covered up with a big pile of soil. It's a bit of a waste really, so I wish I'd sort of cleared it years ago. So we basically just made the yard a bit bigger, and then we're thinking of putting up this greenhouse. I originally thought of putting it up here on top of the old house, but to do that it means we're going to have to peck holes in the concrete to put the posts, or we've got to make plates for the posts to sit on top of the concrete, but there's not enough concrete area to do that with every leg, so it's almost too much hassle than it's worth. So we're thinking of maybe putting it at the edge of this concrete pad here, and it'll go up to roughly where that flat 8 grab is, 30 foot. It's only going to be a 30 foot by 20 foot cover, but if we get plenty of height, it should be 18 foot high, so we should be able to get at least 3 round bales high stacked up. That's the plan. So anyway, yeah, day's nearly over, but we've done quite a bit today. We've hacked all that hedge back, or Dan has, and then we just need to have a go at this tree, take a couple of boughs off the tree, just raise it up. I don't know what it'll look like once we finish, but might end up deciding to just chop it off at the bottom. And this apple tree here seems to have died. Really old tree this. I remember it being very similar looking when I was a kid, but this year seems to have just killed it. I don't really know what's happened. So we got the electric box back from repairs this morning, so Dan's just put it back on. He's just testing it. So far it seems to be working a lot more than it did before, but hopefully that's good to go. We've also got a Baler control box, which personally I didn't think we really needed, but it'll be nice to have because that's the one that should be on it apparently. So hopefully it'll have a louder buzzer in it, and also it'll have the auto function, so it'll just automatically net when the bale chamber's full. So we should be all good to go. Just need some dry weather now. It's nice and windy today, but we've had a hell of a lot of rain yesterday. Over 20 mil, probably a lot more than 20 mil. So that set us back a week. Starting to worry now that we're never going to get a dry spell before winter, but we'll just keep trying to get ready for when there is one. Seems to be doing its full cycle, so we should be happy.